Yeah, coming to you under Terra Australis for Revolution Radio on revolution.radio. It is home to fresh, unadulterated ideas and conversations in the chat room, and a place, if you're so inclined, to get your merch. This is show number 592.
91.
91, I knew it. 91, 90, and 500. 591, that's a lot of shows. You can catch us on air, online, on your smart device. So grab an app. And there's so many now, so many apps. You can listen anywhere, even on the International Space Station while it's still up there. Or you can listen at home on a Grace Tabletop Digital Radio. If you miss Solaris' show, that's okay. That's all right. That's not a problem. You know why? Because you can go to the archives, and they are free. That's right. They are free. And she had David Collis today. David C. Collis, I should say. And he is an author and artist. And they were discussing spirituality. And
that's a good thing to
not just the spirit, but in all its forms. Spirituality all over. That's pretty cool. Now, the archives are free, which is great. So you can go and check out all of our shows and anyone's show because they're free.
Don't.
Now,
really? Stop it.
Free. Tell them the price, son.
That's for an advertising campaign from the 80s.
Look, if you're Australia, you were alive in the 80s, you know it. It also makes you older than time. But that's also a good reason to support the station because the station is not supported by anyone but you, the listener, or
good on you.
Maybe the CIA. I don't know. Just to control us. No, seriously. If you can donate any kind of currency, crypto, fiat, anything is good. Gold, silver. Maybe you can't, and that's okay. Things are tough all over, and they're getting tougher. Oh my God, they're getting tougher. And then maybe tell your friends and family, and maybe one of those good people can donate to the station. Before we start broadcasting at you in anger, and we would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land from which we broadcast. And for Dave,
the Darkinjung people.
Thank you, sir. And for myself, of course, the Daruk people. And we would like to pay our respects to elders, past, present, and future. Yes, my friend. Cocainum, eh?
Oh, boy. Yeah, sure. You didn't read the text, clearly. So,
really?
I wanted to say, Mecca, that this week, honestly, it's just nuts. There's so much going on in the world, and there's very little media on any of it.
That's true.
Israel taking Palestine, and not taking the land, just going in there and digging up all the streets, all the bitumen, and some pipe work, which supplies, natural gas and water and things, things you need to live there. So now it's kind of uninhabitable, which is no one's hearing about that. The other thing that I thought was extraordinary was, hang on, before I tell you that. So, Nikki, I had a nosebleed. I've started to get nosebleeds a lot, at least once a week, a very severe nosebleed. I know I've mentioned before, but I kind of took a leaf out of someone famous's book, but I changed the material from cocaine to salt. And I just did a little bump of salt, because that's what they call it now. I learned that on the internet. And voila, almost instant cauterization. And I think that's tremendous. Jeez, it's changed my life. Of losing 2 cups of blood every time I have a large nosebleed event. So what I've done is I've just...
a cup of blood is fine.
One cup, two cups. Transylvania.
It's the count.
The count. I love the count. So what I did, I just got the salt grinder and just ground some salt in my palm, and I just snorted some grains of salt, like a pinch of salt, up the nostril that was affected by the bleeding, and it stopped it.
It does.
It was totally unpleasant, but it stopped the bleeding, and I went, "Gee, that's all right." Wow.
Snorting, eh? You know what else? Well, you know what else people snort, Dave?
I have no idea.
Different things.
Oh.
Different things.
Oh, wow.
Cocaine.
So that went well.
Woo! So smooth. so smooth. We are the Segway kings. Your Lordship? No, it's Your Grace, isn't it? Your Grace! No, look, you know what I learned recently? Look, Dave and I had a bit of banter before the show.
We thought we thought we'd do a segue from that into the cocaine use in the White House.
Yeah, which worked really well.
Since we have to explain it, yeah.
What? It's good. Humor. No, need to explain. Just laugh. So, if it's interesting, you will find the funny.
Why are you so mad? This is on the game.
It's a funny one. Not oddly enough, but I learned I learned it a little while ago. Is that Australia is the per capita consumption capital of cocaine in the world. Per capita,
above Peru?
Above everybody.
Wow.
Yeah. This was
Wall Street.
Yeah, I know, right? And this is even though a gram of cocaine. This is according to this article in the news.com here.
Yep.
And a gram of cocaine starts at about $300 Australian here in Australia. Now, interestingly, cocaine costs. I didn't know this, but cocaine costs in Mexico. 1 gram is about between $3 and $14.
Oh,
yeah, and
that's the margin.
I know. In the United States, between $60 and $80 per gram, and then once it gets to Australia, $300 and upwards. You're thinking, oh my goodness! If you're a cocaine addict, you should live in Mexico.
Yes, solid. That's right.
To you. Yeah. Now, this is how.
If it matters to you, that's where you should go, right?
It could. Now, apparently, there's data from the Australian Criminal Intelligence Commission. I didn't even know we had that. ACIC.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a wastewater analysis. They did the same thing in London.
Oh, yes.
And this was in 2020, and this was in Sydney. Wastewater in Sydney was analyzed, and what it showed that there were about 15 doses of cocaine consumed per 1,000 people on an average day.
Yeah.
Compared to Melbourne's 6, Brisbane's 5, and Canberra's 10. And apparently, what do we spend? We spent some crazy money on this stuff. Here we go. While once considered the drug of the wealthy city dweller, statistics reveal cocaine usage is now spread much further. Australia is now the highest per capita user of the drug in the world, with trade estimated to be as high as $2 billion and 5.5 tons consumed here each year.
Yeah, Meki, do you remember stories about it being available at the chemist?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Like
the turn of the 19th century, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
You can go to the apothecary, like a chemist, and you say, "Well, I would like a quart of gasoline, your finest gasoline, 5 grams of cocaine, and a bottle of laudanum. Thank you."
Wow, there's a night out.
And there is a night out. Whoopsie daisy. And the benzene, which actually like the name of the petrol they used, and still in Germany they call it benzene. Could go a long way, and they could use it for their lighter fluid as well. It was just an all around kind of usage then. And you could go, and it would be okay. Here's your cocaine. Here's your laudanum. Would you like any heroin with it? No, look. I'm just trying to. Not today. Not today, because I don't.
I got some things on.
Be constipated too much. So what?
So Meki, what's laudanum?
Laudanum is also a drug, and it was a drug that was taken by the ladies in liquid form. And it essentially, I'll tell you exactly what the chemical composition was. Give me a second. But it was essentially to cure women's ailments specifically.
I kind of get that. Yep.
Yeah, it's opium. It's a tincture though. It's a liquid, and it contains about 10% of opium by weight. So you just drink it pretty much.
Wow, that would fix anything.
Yeah. So it's not heroin. So it hasn't been opium hasn't been refined. Right. It's just the actual opium itself, and it would put it into a medium, and you would just take it.
I suppose, Meki, it would be not very much different. I suppose than Phenergan.
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because I'll tell you, it doesn't matter what's wrong with you. If you have some Phenergan, you just forget that something was wrong with you.
Mhm.
It's not that the pain goes away.
No,
You are so
don't care
affected
anymore.
by Phenergan that you can't contemplate that there was a time when you were affected by something.
I'm good. What?
You do not honestly at any cost use heavy machinery.
No, that's a bad.
Mickey, I remember one time my doctor said, "Oh, look, just take some in the morning, right?" And I said, "But I've got to go to work." "Oh no, that should be fine." What I didn't explain was I had to drive for an hour, and the Phenergan started to affect me, and I had to pull over at the side of the road and go to sleep for a while until I was suitably awake and aware and safe to drive home. I didn't even go to work.
Wow.
That was pretty hard. Yeah. Just gonna say, challenging, and as it was beginning to affect me, I knew that this was wrong. The driving was wrong.
Oh.
So I pulled over before it became problematic, and I just slept it off and went home again later. Like maybe 4 hours later or 5 hours later. Far out.
But the thing is this, though. I mean, I used to be. When I came to the Sydney scene, I used to go to dance parties when I was much younger.
Yeah.
Much younger. Drug use then wasn't prevalent, I can tell you. I mean, some people took drugs. I know that.
Yeah.
I personally didn't really partake in much of that. People came up to me and said, "Oh, what you taking?" Because I was dancing like crazy. I was very fit. And I was sweating and I was dancing.
We were fit that back then.
Oh, yeah, very. But and well, what you on? What you having? Give me some. I said, I had a beer. You can have a beer over there. They sell them. And off I went. But then years later and now I guess I'm not really connected anymore. But I certainly hear stories. Now it's just like the way I would drink a beer. You just
as they're doing everything else. Pills. That's right. Yeah.
And I mean, this is not cheap either. So look, the things have changed in the world, and I think drug use is just a lot more prevalent now than it ever than before. I mean, I'm not saying people never took drugs. Of course, they took drugs before. I just think that a lot more people are taking a lot more drugs now.
Well, look, from the beginning of time, we've taken something.
Oh yeah.
Our societies from the beginning. What about? Remember that in Borneo, Meki, they chew this root thing up and then and they mush it up and they put it into a ball and then you get your best friend to use their blow dart gun and to propel it up into your nose.
That's what you need,
right? Of which they have to then be with you for the next couple of days because, good luck with that.
It's not so good. If you want to. You don't want to be by yourself. Ayahuasca, I think it's called.
Yeah, pretty close. Yeah,
but other substances as well. I mean, even mildly euphoric like kava.
Kava, yeah, that's right.
Take a drink in Fiji.
Fiji, yeah. It's a ground root. Yeah.
Yeah, it numbs your lips and it numbed my tongue. I didn't get any special feeling because I knew these Fijians and they gave it to me. So it's not unpleasant. It's like drinking a little bit like drinking dirt, and not unpleasant dirt. Like. That sounds terrible.
Well, there's a difference. I don't know where you live, Meki, but ours is great.
But you know how the earth smells like?
Yes, it's very earthy.
Yeah, very earthy.
And I don't mean like where wine tasters going, oh, there's some earthy tones here. No, it's just like eating dirt. Yeah,
licorice spice. No, but and look, other forms
drugs
of
bad,
drugs here and there and everywhere. And cola is actually a nut. The cola flavor you get in the drink comes from a nut, and people chew that. Cocaine leaves used to be chewed. Well. Tobacco used to be chewed before it was smoked.
Yeah.
And ultimately, all these things give you a little bit of a kick here and there. And in alcohol, similarly, rotting fruit, animals used to eat, and people saw it.
They've done studies to show that the fruit flies choose the rotting fruit to eat, and the ones who choose it are the ones that didn't mate.
Did
right. You know that?
I did not know that. But
that was a study. So they're drinking their last hours away, right?
It's like, I know what I'm doing with my time, baby. I don't know what you're doing. but yeah, look. I find it interesting, but it's also not surprising. I'm not familiar with the book. We spoke about this before. A Brave New World.
One of my favorites.
Within Brave New World, there's this drug called Soma, which really just means sleep. But essentially, it's a drug that is dispensed to the population on a regular basis. And we've done something similar now, right? I mean, there's legal drugs, and I mean, America is suffering from a massive painkiller prescription
opioids.
It's horrific. And other places, you got legal drugs, illegal drugs. I mean, alcohol and tobacco are still illegal. You can still have those. But prescription drugs are definitely up there. I mean, it's happening now, and people are taking it. I mean, no, I need to calm down. Oh, I'm too much anxiety. Give me some Valium
to balance me out. So, Mackie, what about what's in water?
Everything, and fluoride, of course.
Fluoride, of course. That's right.
To grow teeth in your brain.
Yeah, I've got that. And in my lungs too. That's great. Yeah, good for you. So Mackie, I chose the Central Coast because it didn't have fluoride in the water, and about 10 years ago they started the program to put it in the water.
See, there's no good scientific evidence. Look, the thing is this, and I'm going to say it one more time.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll
this might be the last time we say it.
Yeah, sure it will. Fluoride is a topical treatment for your teeth. You go to the dentist, they put fluoride on your teeth after you get a cleaning or whatever, and it sits there for 5-10 minutes, and then they take it out. You rinse and spit out, and they tell you don't swallow for 15 minutes, whatever, and off you go. There's no such thing as a fluoride tablet, or at least I haven't seen it, because it's a topical treatment.
That would kill you.
It goes on something.
Fluoride tablet would kill you.
That's pretty much what it would do. Now, the thing is this. I asked my dentist, and he said, well, there's no real good reason for fluoride in the water. I mean, you have to drink a lot of fluoridated water for it to have effect as a topical treatment on your teeth.
That's right.
Because, I mean, that's the idea. They're thinking, okay, I put fluoride in the water, right? And then because people drinking water, the fluoride will come in contact with their teeth, which is true, but we don't swish the water around like a fine wine in our mouth. Usually we just drink it. And there are two effects that fluoride has. Two things it does for the world. One, it makes you placid. It's a mood control agent that the Nazis put into the water. God bless the Nazis. Secondly,
is there anything that they're not doing now that they used to do? I don't know.
The other thing that it does for the world is that it gets rid of industrial waste, because fluoride is an industrial waste byproduct. And what do I do with it? I just put it in the water. Dude, what's this guy's name? He's just brilliant. He comes up with he's like always a conversation between himself. What do we do with the fluoride? Oh, we put it in the water.
Jason. What are you, stupid?
If you haven't seen it, do yourself a favor. Find him on YouTube.
His name is Jimmy Reese.
Jimmy Reese. Please do yourself a favor. He is phenomenal. Jimmy Reese, if you're listening to this, I hope maybe you are.
That'd be lovely if he did. Yeah, big fans. We love your work, buddy. Keep it up.
I mean, I love your work. It is phenomenal. But yeah, so let's put it in the water. So this is what it doesn't do anything else. There's no other benefit to fluoride.
Because of the minute amount of time that it would spend in contact with your teeth, and the minute amount of it would be totally ineffectual. There would be nothing, and there's no supporting study that suggests that it's working just fine for its intended goal of making people's teeth better.
There's something beautiful in the two things I want to share from the chat room. One is from Acid Trip 69. Hey, Acid, how are you, buddy? I hope everything is okay with the baby. Now, this is what he says. Reality is an illusion caused by lack of drugs. Caused by lack of drugs. Now, he saw this inscribed on a wall in a bar in Columbia in South Carolina. And Fleeced is sharing this with us. Drinking fluoride or fluoridated water for whatever uselessness is as much sense as drinking sunscreen to prevent a sunburn.
Don't do either, but yes, we agree with you, Fleeced.
100%.
That's right.
Who said this? Was it Trump who said we should be drinking bleach to kill COVID?
No, that was a clip that they used of what his overall speech was, and he said it would be as useless as drinking bleach to cure the COVID.
That's right. So they just took it out of context, right?
That's right.
Okay, good. No, but it is. I mean, drinking sunscreen will do nothing for you.
Oh, wait, so I'm going to say it's going to do something to you, but it won't be what you want it to do.
It's not going to be pleasant, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Do you remember what was that oil that you had to drink when you swore?
Castor oil.
Castor oil. Yeah, thanks.
Oil. Oh no! You're talking about no. You're talking about something else entirely. You're talking about it was made from the liver of whales. It was called cod liver oil.
Cod liver oil, yeah.
That's to make you better. I mean, castor oil was to act as an enema, but cod liver oil, and I had a lot of it. On a big spoon. It was really oily and viscous.
Oh, it's disgusting. That's right.
But when I was 8 or 9, they invented a capsule which contained the cod liver oil, which I then had. Hurrah!
Wow, you're lucky, Mickey, because
I know.
Yeah, I'm going to wash your mouth out with soap, said my parents when I swore the first time. And that was a really terrible experience because wax soap is awful.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Right? And I didn't swear around them, but they could have said, would you mind awfully not swearing and doing the best you can not to swear around adults? That'd be great. I would have gone, fine. That's a reasonable expectation. Nice request. Thank you very much. I'll adhere to that.
Yeah.
But no, let's go shock and awe. Yeah? Shock and awe. And so, Mickey, I just want to say back to the cocaine found in the White House. There was footage, albeit, of Hunter Biden walking away from the balcony. I think it was. And he rubs his nose like he's just had some cocaine recently. Right?
We only know it from the movies. I mean, Dave surmises because that's what it looks like in the movies, right?
That's exactly right.
That's right.
Right? And so the White House now, the U.S. Secret Services were investigating where the cocaine found in the White House lobby came from. Hang on. Well, duh. Right? I think the first thing there was, is that anthrax? Right?
Yeah. I think that's exactly what happened. I think it was that fear that no more anthrax. No, it's just see.
And I'm presuming because of the Hunter Biden laptop and all the videos of him doing all those things that he's done, that it's more than likely his. I don't believe it would have been Joe's because I've not seen Joe make a lick of sense in any off-topic discussions that he's ever had. Even the ones where he's had to read the cue cards, he's messed up. Yeah, so I don't think he's solid. Yeah, I've seen the movies, Mickey. I know that people talk like a million, words a second.
That's
when they're coked up. So, wow, that's what law says about the drug. So, you know what? If all you had to do was have like a, I don't know, what are those Apple Watches that show your heart rate?
Like a heart rate, okay.
Yeah, if they had live telemetry of Hunter Biden's Apple Watch on his wrist, and the Secret Service find the little baggie in the White House, and he's hunting around hunting around in the White House looking for where he's misplaced it, and then he sees them holding it, you would have seen a large spike in his heart rate, I presume, right? And it's all about a joke. This is all kind of comedy around this news story. Because, look, it does bother me, because imagine the other side of the fence, Mickey. Could you imagine during the Trump era if his son had been caught doing this stuff? Could you imagine it?
He'd not be sitting in jail, my friend. That's for certain.
So, is there not? I think it's a monopoly, not a duopoly. Yeah, that's right. There is no justice, right?
You're funny, man.
Oh, that's right. I saw a show, Mickey. I saw a documentary on from 30 years ago to today Some of the numbers are lost on me because I can't remember them, but there was a lot of things to unpack. But what they said was, how many current wars are there? And back 30 years ago, there was, I think, 60, and now we've got 13 or 25 or something, so there was less of that. And for each one of these staggering figures of today, we look back and it was more then. And this guy might have cherry-picked a whole bunch of things to make this point, and I believe that's the case anyway. But what really surprised me was, it does seem better when you're only looking at those things. But if you're looking at everything else, no, it's actually quite appalling where we're at the moment.
Oh, it's much worse. I mean, the conflicts that we have today have devastated entire regions.
That's right.
And yeah, I mean, nobody talks about Yemen anymore. Yemen, what now?
Where is that, Mickey? I'm sure that's somewhere else, right?
It's somewhere else. Let's figure it out. You know, I mean, Yemen.
Do we buy food off them or something? No.
If it wasn't for Yemen or Yemenis, we wouldn't have no coffee. Okay, let's just put it this way. But yeah, there are, there are still. I mean, it's a massive humanitarian crisis. Yemen, who cares? There's nothing that anybody wants. Okay. Which is true. Yemen has nothing anybody really wants. And so why would we do anything at all? We don't have to. And plus, there's sort of, there are brown people there. Yeah,
Yeah.
Don't really want to have too much to do with that. It's not really my thing.
We're not being racist. This is the overall.
Oh, that's the sentiment of the people out in the world. It's appalling.
That's right.
I think that's exactly how they think, and it's making me sick. It's making me sick to my stomach, right? Because that's how people still think like that today in this day and age.
Totally,
they still think like that. So what do you do about that? Well, good question. Actually, it's a fantastic question.
Very little.
What do you do? Yeah,
the minimal amount. What MVP, Mackie? MVP.
Yeah,
minimal viable product, right?
That's what they say.
Did I care? I shared a meme. On it. I'm good now, right?
Good.
Do I get points? Do I get my social credit up?
Why'd you get all the points?
Oh, good.
You're the point king.
Point king. Well, you know what? I think that's the segue. That's the segue to talking about one of the most astonishing things that happened here in Australia under the previous government.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And this was proposed. I don't know who's actually proposed it, to be honest, but it was proposed.
It was under Liberal government, and it was what's the gentleman before Morrison? He started it.
Oh yeah, Captain's Call with all the ears and the budgie smugglers.
Oh no, not him. The one after Malcolm Turnbull.
Oh,
Turnbull.
Okay. So
it was I think he initiated it, or it was initiated under his auspices as well.
Ah, right. Well, we've just had a huge inquiry into this fiasco, which is some are calling it, and it was called robo-debt. It really meant that what they did is they looked at all the people who had been receiving benefits and how much they should have been paid to how much they were paid, and if they were overpaid, they were requested to pay the money back. Like that's the premise. That's a fair call. Turnbull. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Turnbull and Abbott were the ones we were talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. So thanks there, as a chip in 69. Now, this is the difference between what the customer wants and what they were given into those pictures of the tyre swing. So the brief is pretty simple. Just send a letter to the people who owe some money, and we can arrange a payment scheme or something, right? The problem is the people who were overpaid have no money. It isn't like they've got money. They were on benefits, or, they were unemployed. They were just receiving an unemployment benefit, and that's it. Like we call it the dole. So they were given that money, and then if they were overpaid, they were just asked to pay it back. So it surprises me that you could really get that wrong.
So the reason, let's give you a little bit more detail. So number one, about 500,000 Australians were affected. 500,000. Out of those 500,000, a few people actually killed themselves, lost their lives.
Yeah.
And because the money they had to pay back, they could never pay back, and they were just in dire straits. Let's call it call a spade a spade. Also, interestingly, no human intervention at all. Like this was completely automated. It was an algorithm that looked at stuff, and clearly, it didn't work very well. It's not working. What? And it actually made mistakes. So these people didn't actually owe money, so they had nothing to pay back, as it were, which is really interesting, right? This is not some well, they should have paid it back and that's all legit. Maybe we should have gone about it a different way. No. This was actually, these people never owed money. They should never have paid anything back, and they were completely blindsided by this. That was the problem. I mean, this is actually horrendous if you think about it.
Yeah,
I mean,
it is.
you're already doing it tough. Okay, you're doing it tough because you're on unemployment benefits, and you're not a rich person. You're just making ends meet, and
you probably could barely pay your bills as it is, or your rent, or eat.
Yeah. And all of a sudden they're saying, "Oh no, you got to pay money back." And you go, "What?" I mean, you haven't got $2 to rub together, and they're telling you got to pay money back. And I mean, for a lot of people, financial distress.
Or what we're going to do is
bad.
just take it out of the money we have to give you.
Yeah.
So there's 15 years of you never getting any money because you've got to pay back $20,000 or $30,000 in some cases, right?
Yeah. And they were threatening criminal prosecution in some instances.
Yeah.
Which is even, this
That's
is
in the first letter.
Yeah. Now, what has happened, though, interestingly enough, in this investigation, what they have come up with is a sealed section of the investigation, which is now being referred to the police.
Mm-hmm.
That means that they're now going to, people like bureaucrats as well as politicians potentially, might face both criminal and civil charges over this.
Yeah.
I can't recall, to be honest with you, the last time that happened. I'm glad. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, awesome, brilliant, more, please. But I can't remember the last time. Excuse me, that actually happened. I think it's phenomenal.
Well, apparently, the story goes so far that's been released to the media, and this is the confirmed media outlets, not opinion pieces.
Yeah,
they've said that they were advised by their legal representation that they should not proceed with the scheme, because the data's bad. And anyway, when they went, screw it, we're just going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
And then as people started to commit suicide, it went south on them real quick, and they found so many errors. When you do a mail merge, Mackie, and you got the numbers kind of wrong.
Yeah.
And, the name at the top doesn't match the person who's receiving a letter. Or they're owing. Yeah. So I can see how it could go wrong really easily. And that's what happened. And there was almost no recourse. The person couldn't, contend the amount. And they were just a flat no, this is what you're going to pay. Yeah, well, good luck.
That's just,
So it ruined people.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah.
Again, this wasn't a small thing. It's 500,000 Australians that were affected.
Mm-hmm.
And now, because Mr. Morrison has been implicated significantly in this, right? And he says, "Oh no, this is all wrong, and I did all the right things, and I got all the right advice, blah blah blah." Abrogating any responsibility. That's right. That might come his way.
Oh, do you know what's going to be terribly funny about that?
For my job?
No. It's like, oh no, that was this minister. But didn't you sign in as that minister as well?
Yeah.
Because remember, he held all the roles.
Oh yeah. Oh, he did. He did. It's a thing.
It is. And you got paid for that role too, didn't you? Yes. I got 9 paychecks, right, or whatever, however many there were. And I'm making that up because I don't actually know how much he was paid. But I suppose in government, if you're acting up as your manager's role, then you would get that wage
Well,
for the time you're doing it.
Ideally, yes. That's
government. That's government,
Yeah.
though.
It actually happens in government?
Yes, it does. Completely, 100%.
Cool.
So if you had all those roles, I bet there was $1 in it for him.
Yeah.
You know. So I dare say if he received 1 cent for any of those roles, he would be responsible for the outcome as well from that role perspective.
I agree. Well, you should be.
You should. That's right.
But
ignoring the legal advice, I think it puts them into a really bad position. So I do hope that it all gets sorted out rather quickly. And for all of those relatives who have lost someone due to that failed deployment of Rabbit, I'm deeply sorry for your loss. And even though I've got nothing to do with it, I really feel the pain in such a failed deployment. Remember how there was an attack on the solar panels, free solar panel thing, that some electricians had lost their lives because, you know, they put their apprentices up in the ceilings and putting down the insulation and stuff. Oh man, just terrible, right?
That was dreadful.
But it was the program itself. It wasn't requiring that the experienced person did the install.
Oh, that's true. It was okay. This was the Midnight Oil Singer. He was really promoting that program.
And he should. Insulating houses, it's a great way to save on your power bills.
Just in the right way, please. You know. And
well, they couldn't guarantee the absolute wiring standards of people's homes.
No, that's correct.
Because that's an unknown territory, right? So what they could control, they did really, really well, and they weren't absolutely responsible for those deaths. But I have to say, as a program as a whole, that was pretty hard. So, but each independent contractor that did the installation should have signed something that said that they were, ultimately responsible for what they did, the work they did.
Well, that would have been the logical and right thing to do. I mean, and untrained people went. It was a free fall. In many ways. It was a bit of a
lot of dollars in it.
Yeah, it wasn't a good scenario for anyone. And there were no winners. Yeah, let's put it that way. There were no winners.
What it should have been was a rebate program.
Yeah.
So you get it installed, and we'll give you the money for it.
That would have been a good thing. But look, we can't change the past. It is what it is. But this thing now, this is the first time that people will actually be civilly or criminally charged, or at least it's being referred to similarly or criminally charged.
And they can't avoid parliamentary privilege.
Correct.
Now, if you don't know what that is, if you say something within Parliament, or on the, what's it called? The apron of the building, right? Within the grounds of the Parliament buildings. You can't be sued for anything that you say.
That's exactly correct. You are immune from prosecution. You can say whatever you want. A lot of people say a lot of stuff, but it's also good form to take it back if it was said maybe incorrectly or in the wrong context or whatever, mean-spirited maybe, right? So yeah, people do that, and they do take it back as well. Push comes to shove. But it's very much a thing, and I can tell you, we are going to see a massive, I think, impact here. It's already a minister that she was in charge of it, and she's now, I think she's in defense now, working on the submarine thing. But she was in charge of the program when it was running.
Wow.
And she's already been identified as one. She's on sick leave now.
Yep.
And she's identified as one that probably will not be coming back from sick leave.
Wow.
Again, I'll be honest. Look, this killed people.
Yeah.
This, it's not like we charged a few people wrong and no harm, no foul. If that were the case, and it was really just a matter of financial restitution, I go, you know what? No harm, no foul. repay the money back to the people that it's owed, etc. Make a public apology, and Bob is your uncle, right?
Yep.
But this has contributed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying it killed people, but it has contributed to the death of people.
Goodness
You know,
me.
that's a lovely little tune. But it's
Yes, my mobile
it's a
phone.
significant thing. And again, I'm surprised, and I'm also glad to see that this is actually a thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a thing. We can look forward to justice being done. I think it's fantastic, Dave. I really do. I think it's an awesome thing.
Yeah. Well, look, the natural outcome of something that has legal ramifications may actually put a halt to future programs where they become too afraid to embark on something again. I think this is what do they call it? A watershed moment?
Yeah, that's right.
I think that's what we're staring at here, where we've lived through it, we've seen it in action. They've stopped the program. There's been an inquiry, and now there's legal proceedings. And look, if that prevents it, great. But I know why the government did it to start with, and like I said, I didn't vote for them. But I realise that if you've got a lot of debt owing, the easiest way to fix your debt problem is to call the debts in.
Yes.
Right.
Especially fictitious ones. They're the best.
Oh, especially the fictitious ones. Yes. So, you can sell off all the assets that you own, but that's only a temporary thing. Even the ones that were making money, like I'm just looking at you, New South Wales government, for selling for selling the lotto.
Yeah.
Which was a huge money spinner.
Gold mine.
Yeah, it was just a license to print money, pretty much. And they sold that to a private company who's like, I didn't think they would let us buy it. Woo! Money.
Makes you wonder, doesn't it? It's like what?
Yeah,
really?
yeah. The same people, will do it again. They'll sell more assets, and then look, the books are great. Our AAA rating, Mechie, is intact.
Hooray!
So let's borrow some more money.
Hooray!
All right.
Let's get all the money.
So at what point, Mechie, at what point does the credit card become full? Because we've seen the US do their let's avoid the debt default and just raise the debt ceiling. Let's just borrow some more money.
Yeah. Oh, what do you mean balance your budget? What?
What does that even mean? I think you're making these words up.
I'm the government. I'm the government. I can do what I like. I'm the government.
So he lifts like this red phone off his desk and just goes, print some more money. Yes, sir. And it hangs up.
Yes.
Done.
Can do. Really? Yes, sir. Don't you worry none. We got you covered, son. That, of course, is money that doesn't exist.
That's right. No, none of it does. The whole thing's it's all a scam. The whole thing is a scam from top to bottom. When Homer was head of the local council and he spent the entire year's budget in a month.
Can we print more money?
That's right.
Why can't we just print more money? Come on.
That's right.
Come on, guys.
And they had that song, the advertising campaign, with the rubbish men will do everything for you. Come and get the rubbish out of your house and everything. It's hilarious.
Oh, that's gold.
Oh yes, that's the way it used to be, Mechie. In the olden days.
In the olden days, we could do whatever we wanted without any repercussions. Hurrah! Really? Oh yeah. Don't worry about that.
Oh, so repercussions. Here's one. I got one. This is a news story from once again. This is a verified news source. And it says, what Australia can learn from Thailand a year after cannabis was decriminalised. Okay. So in the US, they're kind of fruitful in this regard. There's not all states, but a lot of states have legalised it, cannabis, and good for them, right? Because it's a whole market now. That is a great thing. they've, I suppose it's another way to subdue your voting populace.
Sure.
You don't have to use fluoride, that expensive fluoride. In fact, you can make taxes off this. We weren't making much tax off the fluoride, I'll tell you that much.
That's the truth. That is the truth. You can, in fact, look. There's no there's no downside to it. There really isn't. And Holland has shown it. In the Netherlands. And marijuana is not really a gateway drug. I know people like to say that.
Yeah.
I don't think people understand what gateway means. That's my suspicion. What do we think gateway actually means? It's not what you think it means, everybody. It's something else. It is something else entirely. And in fact, marijuana, the only reason, do you know what the reason why marijuana is actually illegal? Let me tell you. All right, go on, please.
DuPont, you can disagree. DuPont, after the war, had made nylon, and the opposition to nylon was hemp rope, and hemp products. And they fought and lobbied the government to ban marijuana.
Yes. And it was with the help of the cotton lobby as well, believe it or not.
Yes.
And that's a thing. That's absolutely a thing.
Because before then it was legal.
Yeah, do what you want.
Yeah, do what you want. That's right. So it's taken quite a long time for it to go full circle, and I think nylon's come and gone. It's got its uses, so does everything else. Most of the materials for the manufacture and what do they call it when they bash the stems of the plant to get the fibers? There's a machine, a thrasher.
Yeah.
So the thrasher was that we had for so many generations. All that technology is gone, so we had to reinvent it again to be able to do this, because it doesn't use the same kind of thrasher as all the other industries. So yeah, crazy what we had to do it. But think about this: let's call them social drugs, marijuana specifically in this conversation, is taxable. It is measurable by dose and strength, so you're not going to get problems around this. It's taxable.
Mm-hmm.
The outcome is your takeaway food outlets, 7-Elevens, and all of those. You can turn into Jess Piccoli as much as you want. It subdues the populace. Yeah. It brings back music that you never thought you would listen to. All the things, there's so many good points to it from a population perspective, and specifically at this time and place where the Great Reset thing is happening. What are people going to do when there's no work for anybody?
No, but that's the thing. You're 100% correct. There's a fantastic writer, Robert Sheckley. If you haven't read Robert Sheckley, please do. And
that's a good request, and I implore you all to do it before next week.
Please do. And look, there'll be a quiz. Stories. There'll be pop quiz. No, but he has written a lot, especially short stories. He's a masterful writer of short stories. But the point here is that he envisions societies like that. And there's one short story where the protagonist, essentially his job is to be a voter. That's what he does. He votes. And you go, okay, what does that mean? Now, what it means is he lived in Manhattan. He's a Manhattanite. He lives there, and all he does is he has free entertainment, free drugs, free parties, free food. It's all given to him by the people that want to be elected to office.
Yeah, it sounds like what's going on today.
That's okay. So, and he does that. That's all he does. That's all he does. That's his job. And the society works like that. That's how society. That society rather. That's how it works. That's what happens in that society. And there's only a very, very few that still want to serve in any kind of public office. Everybody else is just take drugs and has a merry old time with it. I tell you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the society. And he wrote many stories like that. And he wrote that in the 50s.
Wow.
He wrote that in the 50s. People called him Voltaire with soda. He's a very, very, very good writer. And he's, look, if you have never come across him, please do read him. He has got one of the best social commentaries in the 20th century I've ever read. So it has been foreshadowed already. We know it's we know the game plan is the game plan. Like there's no one has any illusions as to what will actually happen in the future. And we know what the outcome is because it has been foreshadowed in 1984 in Brave New Worlds, in other books as well. The funny thing is we are there. People say, "Oh, it's going to happen soon." No, you're wrong. We're there now.
It's happening.
Yeah, it is underway. We don't have to wait anymore. It's like climate change. I always find it amusing. I don't know. It's not going to happen for, ages. No, it's happening.
That's right.
It is now, and there's very little we can do except let's get ready for it, right? And that's really all we can do. We just get ready for it, and just start preparing. Hope for the best, really.
Do you know the use of hallucinogenics to cure PTSD is now a thing?
Yes, it is. Yes,
So that's very effective, apparently.
Yeah.
So there are certain things that are just they're on the planet. We can use them. They shouldn't be illegal, even despite big pharma's best intentions to try to come up with something, because they know that there's a winner in it, there's a dollar, but they don't want to create stuff that isn't financially rewarding for them.
Yeah.
And this is one of those things. I really do think. Oh, good on you, Fleeced.
I missed it. Sorry.
Have a look at Fleeced words there. So look, we've only got 1 minute left.
Yes. You're right, please.
We have 1 minute left.
Look, the truth is this. This is the truth. The truth is we have to be vigilant. Okay? The truth also is that we are being lied to systematically. Not as a last resort, but as just as a matter of course. We're just being lied to because that's the easiest way to deal with us. We're just Muppets. Oh, that's the way the CSers say. I don't think we're Muppets. But that's the way, the powers that be perceive us as Muppets, as cattle, and sometimes not even that. And all these mysteries that are crashing down upon us, that are being revealed to us now, right? They can no longer be contained. I thought about this long and hard, Dave. I know it's almost
0 minutes.
As soon as the music, I'll stop. But I thought about this long and hard. These mysteries cannot be contained anymore. It's just coming out now. This is the time when it all comes out. And there's the music.
I think we all need to be subdued some more, Mackie. That's what I think. Anyway, look, I'm going to stop this YouTube, and it's going to be a short break, and we'll come back with a new video and a topic. And that show topic after the break is Confusion of Languages, Part 2.